It's no walk-up music, but it's all I got. It's time for the Stripe Show. Let's go! Hello everybody, welcome to another edition, episode 8 of the Stripe Show. I am your host, Travis Fulton, and we are here back at the beautiful Jacksonville Golf and Country Club, and you can see we have golfers out here on this beautiful day. It's a charity event benefiting cancer research, all kinds of celebrities here. I saw some old Jacksonville Jaguar football players. I love these types of event, and it's been an absolute great week back on the PGA Tour course, the Zurich Classic. The winners, Scott Piercy and Billy Horschel, and the best ball event, little alternate shot. I love the team competition in golf. Now, the walk-up music, I love the idea, but the execution, we're going to give them 1 year to kind of work this out. I'm hoping they go bigger, stronger, and faster next year at the Zurich Classic because I love that idea. But also, how about Lydia Ko on the LPGA Tour? Her 15th win at such a young age. So many changes over the last couple years, and she gets back into the winner's circle. I'm a big fan of Lydia Ko. I've spent some time with her there at Golf Channel, and I think she is back now and will be a force on the LPGA Tour. But enough with that. Let's get to the Stripe Show. We have so much good stuff coming your way. We've got your golf swings, a really cool 14 strong segment about the impact zone, some Q&A. So let's get right to it with the first Show Us Your Swing, and this one is Logan. Hey Logan, thanks for the video. Lots of good things here in your swing. The first thing, and a very common error that I see with the driver, is you see the upper body face that forward ball position, and as a result, your shoulders and your upper body get going too far to the left. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to show you how to approach this driver and get your chest looking a little bit more behind the golf ball. It'll make you feel a little more closed to the right, but I think that'll really help. Now, from there, you do a good job in the first move. I like where that club head is there. Good angle in the shaft right there. I think one of the things that we can do at the top here is get the club to point a little bit more to the left at the top. See the shaft right there? It's kind of going over here. I'm going to get the club shaft pointing a little bit more to the left. I'll show you how to do that through your right elbow and your left wrist. And I think that'll really set the stage nicely for the club to come down on just a little flatter plane and allow you to rotate a little cleaner through impact en route to this nice balanced finish position. So you got a lot of good things going on. I really appreciate you following me on social media, and I think I can help your driver here at address, getting you a little bit more closed, and then getting this club pointing just a little bit more to the left at the top. I'm going to pinch this right elbow a bit, and I'm going to flatten out your lead hand. I'm going to take that angle, that cup out of the lead wrist, and I think that'll set the stage and make the impact position even more repeatable. Here it comes. Hey Logan, thanks so much for sending in your video and for following me on social media. I really like your swing. Lots of good things going on, and I think what I can share with you can help give you a little bit more distance and accuracy. And I want to address you here from the target line. As I mentioned in the analysis, it's really easy when you set up to the ball and that ball position is forward in the stance. We kind of get ourselves turning this way. You'll notice from this target line view, you can't see the top of my left arm. What you want to do is get in here, recognize that that forward ball position is up here off that left foot. Don't face it, but turn more back here behind the ball. And when you do that, see how you can start to see now a little piece of this left forearm, and you may feel a little bit closed to the right. And I think that's okay in what I see in your swing for you to be a little bit more closed to the right than that of being open. So again, we're going to come in, ball position forward. I'm going to tilt my spine to the right a little bit and then turn my chest more back here so I can get this lead form more up top like that. Now, at the top of the swing, as you go up to here, what I was mentioning is not having your elbows too far apart this way, but feel like your right elbow is going to pinch a little bit more of your left, and your left wrist is going to flatten out this way. That'll get the club pointing a little bit more to the left and get the club face looking up to the sky, and you can see how the club was kind of this way and that toe would want to hang down. So I like for you getting up here, kind of pinching the right elbow towards the left, flattening out that left. That'll get the club pointing over there, and I think that countered with you being a little bit more behind the ball at address, getting a little bit more close to the right, will help you come in on a little shallower attack angle and hit it from the inside. And I like that for the driver. Thanks so much for sending in your video. Now let's go to the second user video of Show Us Your Swing, and this one is Mrs. Finch. Okay, Mrs. Finch, here we go. Doing very good here. I know you're working on the club face and trying to keep it more closed going back. You're doing that nicely. That club face is definitely more closed, but let's keep the club head a little bit more out in front of you and not so far to the inside. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do that. And the reason I say that is when you go to the top, I think it's going to allow your hands to be a little bit higher at the top rather than your hands very low in behind you. So I'm going to show you how to take this club head and keep it a little bit more out in front of you, and then how to get your hands to be just a little bit higher. And I think that's going to really set the stage now for you to turn through just like you did there and finish full with your hands once again higher over your left shoulder. Okay, so I think you're doing a good job of turning going back, shoulders and hips. Look at that, fantastic. I think you're doing a good job of replanting that lead foot, shifting weight and rotating, but we've got to get your hands to be a little bit higher at the top and a little bit higher at the finish. And in doing that, I'm going to make sure that the club head starts just a little bit more out in front of you here in the initial backswing. So well done with the body, well done with the club face. Let me show you a couple things to kind of help shape the swing a bit, and I think you'll have more success with the driver. All right, Mrs. Finch, I got a couple things for you that I think is going to help you hit your driver. Now, you alluded to the club face in your note, keeping it more closed going back. And I can see the face is definitely pointing down to the ground. You haven't rotated the face open, but you're kind of getting it in here. So my advice to you, keep the club head a little bit more out in front of you with the same club face. Now, from there, I think you're going to be able to turn and get your hands up a little bit higher and point the club a little bit more off to the left like this. You'll notice because the club had gotten here, your hands were very low and the club was pointing way over there like that. So just keep the club head out here, your hands will travel up, and then watch how I lay this club down a little bit, kind of back on this right wrist or this trigger finger. I can feel that club laying down back there, more horizontal versus that of vertical. So I like that for you there, kind of 1, 2. All right, now we're going to go to face on, and from here as we swing through, we're going to let the hands now travel back up over the left shoulder like this, and look at the right foot come up to the toe. I think it's difficult for you because you're in here that when you swing through, it's hard to get enough momentum going to the left and get this swinging over your left shoulder. I think what you'll find is as you get your hands up here, you'll have more momentum to swing your hands kind of more up here over your left shoulder like that, with your right foot up onto the toe. So just do it in steps. Go 1, there's the club head. 2, there's my hands in the club shaft. 3, there's my finish, right foot up to the toe. And I think that'll help kind of segment it a little bit, piece it together, 1, 2, 3, then you can get some flow, and I promise you, you'll get more distance and more accuracy with that driver. All right, let's go to my phone, and we've got the 18Birdies app, and this week the feature is about statistics. Check it out. This week's feature in the 18Birdies app is stat tracking. Tracking stats through 18Birdies is super easy. It only takes a few taps and you'll be able to record your fairways hit, greens in regulation, putts, chips, sand shots, and penalties. What's great about tracking your stats in 18Birdies is that all your data gets stored in the app, so you can go back and relive every shot on every hole. You also get awesome charts and graphs to view your progress over a period of time and identify key areas that you need to work on. Examples include fairways hit, greens in regulation, and much, much more. Key statistics that you need to know, and all of it is free in the 18Birdies app. All right, statistics becoming a big part of the game, especially in professional golf, but also in amateur golf. And of course, in 18Birdies app, you get all of that for free. Become a premium member, you get more filters, and you can take it as far as you want to go. So what are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? 18Birdies can help you with that, with the statistical portion of the app. So check it out. Now, time for 14 Strong. Getting good feedback from this segment. Which club are we going to pick today? Remember, you can recommend what you would like for me to cover. Just send it to the Stripe Show at 18birdies.com and we'll implement it into the show. This week, I've got a very special one for you about the impact zone. It's the most important part of any golf swing. Which club are we going to use for the impact zone? Well, you're just going to have to watch and see. This week on 14 Strong, we're talking about the impact zone. That's right, the most important, arguably, important part of the golf swing. What's happening when I strike the ball? What should my body be doing? My arms and hands, and how does that influence the golf club? So we're going to pick an 8-iron for the 14 Strong, and this is something that I like to do with my students in training them in their lesson program. There's a time, it seems, in just about every lesson program where you've got to get them to understand what's happening at the bottom of the arc. So the first thing that I want to share with you is setup and impact, of course, are two different positions. If I set up here to my 8-iron, I move the ball just slightly forward of center, weight's pretty 50-50, maybe just a little left, slight side bend to the right, little bit of shaft lean. There's my setup. All right, now I'm going to go to an impact position, and notice how things start to get very different. I've got more weight on my left foot. My hips are starting to open. My shoulders are starting to open. The forward shaft lean starts to increase. Very different position than that of this. Setup, impact. So how do we start to train that? Well, I've got the ball teed up slightly. We're going to hit some little shots here, and all we're going to do is we're going to take it just about halfway back, just like this, and you'll notice where that bag is there. I'm not going to get this club going all the way to 3/4 of the top. I'm just going to go ahead and take it about halfway back, about parallel, maybe just a little higher than that. And I'm going to start to assemble my wrist. My right wrist is going to be bent. My left wrist is going to be pretty flat. My right elbow is going to be bent. So all I'm going to do is just kind of go from here to there, okay? From here to there. Now, as you do that, a couple checkpoints. Make sure that the club head's kind of staying a little bit out in front of you here like this. Don't just take it back way inside like this. So get it to about the toe line. See that there? See how the shaft's pretty much right there on the toe line. The second thing is make sure the toe is slightly down. See the club face just kind of curled in. Don't over-rotate the face open. So we're just going to take it halfway back, and we're just going to kind of get a sense of where that club shaft is, where the face is, right wrist bent, right elbow bent, lead wrist flat. Now, we're going to bring something in. I've got my impact bag here, and we're going to position that bag just a little forward of center here. It's not very heavy. Okay, you can have anything there. We're just going to take it to there again and then slowly start to bring it down to impact. And as I go to impact, I'm going to feel the bend in the right elbow stay the same. I'm going to feel the bend in the right wrist stay the same. That's going to help me keep the club shaft forward. See, there are a lot of you right now, as you come into impact, you've kind of got this going on, right? Where you just kind of throw it with the right hand. The right wrist scoops, and that gets the shaft leaning back. So what we want to do is kind of feel what it's like to let the right elbow, right wrist just kind of follow the ride of the lower body going left and turning. Okay, so here we go. So just halfway back, impact. And then I move the bag and I take it to post impact. And as I go to post impact, I'm going to keep turning, weight's on the left foot, and I'm just going to kind of get a sense that the shaft kind of stays down in front of me, pointing back towards my body. What I don't want to see in training the impact zone is I don't want to see this club just swing way up here. We're going to control the shaft and the face all the way to post impact. Okay, so here we go. Set up, halfway, through impact. Here's my post impact. You'll notice when I do that, my body's turning around my lead foot. Got a little brace in the lead foot, but also, lead leg rather. Also notice my spine. My spine has a little extension to it. See my little extension in my spine. Both arms straight, shaft pointing down. So we're going to take our setup, and then we're just going to hit a little shot. Now, some of the common mistakes that you're going to see, and I talked about this earlier, is when you go back, a lot of you are going to get the club head wanting to go in there, all right? Some of you are going to want to over-rotate that face open. Look at that toe pointing behind me. So this is great to kind of get this first move the club head out here in front of me. Everything's on the toe line there. The toe slide like that. Another error that you're going to see is that when we swing through, you're going to see the club wanting to swing up like this. So many of you right now are flipping that right hand, scooping the right hand for so many different reasons. Some of you because that face is too open, so when you come in, you try to square it that way. Others, you're probably coming down from over the top. The club head's tracing too much out to in, so as you come in, the body stops and then you have to flip it. So there's different things that cause that flip, but this is a good opportunity to just in little swings feel how things stay a little bit more passive, right? How this is a little more solid through the strike. You don't have to flip it because the face is already square. You're starting to get a sense to swing a little bit more, maybe down from the inside, right? And you can sustain that over to post impact. Keep the shaft and the arms, good structure with this pointing back in front of you. That's a really good challenge for you to be able to hit shots to hear properly. Now, another thing to watch out for is the club face angle. Now, what this is not when we come into impact is the face doesn't hang on. We're not trying to hold the face open, right? Look at the club face as a function of that lead hand. If you put the lead hand out in front of you and you took this back of the left hand, my Callaway here, and I rolled it down to the ground, and then I put it to the sky, right? If it was to the sky, that's opening. Down to the ground, that's closing. We're not coming into impact, keeping this to the sky. That keeps the face open, and you'll be hitting these weird shots off to the right. Feel the left hand start to turn down so the face squares up, and this is great to the back. See there? I can feel the left hand turning down and squaring that face and not hanging on. And that continues over here to post impact. So I feel the left hand turning down. That club face, those grooves are about 45 degrees to the target. Post impact, we're controlling the shaft, we're controlling the face, we're doing that through the education of the hands and arms, and we're getting the body to really support that the correct way. We start to feel the weight left and turning. We start to manage a little bit of side bend to the right. And we can do that slow in steps, just hitting the bat. Just doing it from setup, isolating impact. Work through the progression and then get to where you can hit some little shots to post impact right off a small tee just like this. And you get to a point where you're breaking these tees. You're starting to trap the ball. Ball, then ground. Do it with an 8-iron and then build upon that. And I think you'll be amazed just how things start to get a little more organized, how much more solid it starts to feel downrange. I love this 14 strong with an 8-iron, working on the impact zone. I want you to give this a go and then send me a note and let me know how it is. All right, so one more time. I got my 8-iron here. Impact zone, halfway back, impact, post impact. Just little punch shots, just like that. It was solid. Look at my finish. Can you sustain it to right there? And I mean, I want you to send me your videos. I want to see you do that with the impact zone, okay? And I'm going to put it on the Stripe Show showing your success. It's going to help your ball striking. I love training the impact zone with my students. All right, speaking of irons, let's go to our next Show Us Your Swing. This one is Amir. Hey Amir, thanks so much for the video. Want to help you out here. First thing, at address, I would scoot in just a little closer and then see if you can take a little bit of this dish out of your lower back. You've kind of got a little bit of a dish kind of going in here, and I want to help you with that to flatten out that lower back and get you in a little bit closer to the ball. And I think once you do that, you're going to be in really good shape. Now, your first move, the club head here, you can see it stay nicely right out in front of you. Well done there. And I really like how you're turning that right hip and letting that left knee come across and behind the ball. What I want to help you with here at the top is what's happening right here in your wrist angles. I'm going to show you how to bend that right wrist a little bit better and get that right elbow kind of pinching more of the left elbow in the club. As a result, instead of it being back here like this, it's going to be a little bit more over here. It'll feel like it's pointing a little more to the right at the top. Now, from there, I think it'll be much easier for the club to come down more from the inside. I think right now as you come down, that club head's traveling a little bit from out to in. The path is going probably more this way, and we want to get the path going a little bit more that way. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and work the position at the top, and then I'm going to show you from here how to get the club coming down more from the inside, where that club head is going to be trailing the hands rather than the club head wanting to get out in front of the hands on the downswing. A lot of good stuff there, bud. Here it comes. All right, Amir, a lot of good stuff. I want to show you a few things, couple things at address, and then one thing in particularly at the top, which I think will help you coming down. We're going to set up a little drill station here, and I've got 2 sticks. This first one here, I'm going to point right down the target line, just like that, and then I'm going to set another one just to the inside, say about 45 degrees. So there's 90, you know, somewhere kind of in there, 40, 45 degrees. Doesn't have to be exact. All right, now I'm going to step in here, get that club face looking down the target line. Body, of course, is running parallel to that. Now, when you set up to the ball, I think you're reaching for it just a little bit. Scoot in, get about a hand's width from the belt buckle to the butt of the club. All right, and then the second thing is try to take some of that dish out of your back like that. Just let your pelvis kind of push in a bit and just try to kind of flatten out that lower back so you don't get too much of that, okay? More of this here, all right? So pelvis comes in, I flatten that out, I can stand a little closer, about a hand's width. So I think that's going to help you at address. Now, as you go up to the top of the swing, I want you to go ahead and start working on that wrist hinge a little bit, all right? Bend that right wrist back. All right, let that right elbow kind of work towards the left. I think you're kind of too much this way. Get that elbow in and really work that wrist hinge and try to get the club, say, more on that left thumb. Let that left thumb kind of rest underneath it like that at the top with that right wrist bent. I think that'll really help you kind of get a little bit more potential energy here at the top and allow this shaft to come down on this stick that's more to the inside. Right? So you're kind of out here a little bit more on the target line, and I want you to work that club coming down more on that inside track like that. It's a great visual for you to see, and you also notice how that wrist hinge is still there. My right wrist is still bent. All right, my right elbow is still bent in towards my left. I'm not out here like this. All right, so we're going to get in closer. We're going to flatten out that lower back a little bit, and then we're going to go up there and really work on that wrist hinge. Elbows are closer. Right wrist bent, club's resting on the left thumb, and then I'm going to bring it down to delivery. Just do that a few times. Wrist hinge, down to delivery, right? And once you kind of get the sensation of that, then just do it slow. Now, I didn't hit that one very good, and it's hard to do it slow, and you'll miss-hit it a little bit, and that's okay, but just kind of stay with it and do it in steps. And I'm just teeing it slightly to keep it in the same spot. Getting my checkpoints. There's my wrist hinge. Delivery, right? Be able to control that. Reset it. Once again, half speed. There we go, and I hit that one much better. And that golf ball started a little to the right and had a little draw to it. And I think that's probably what you're going to see as you start to improve on that pass. So I like your swing, a couple things to work with at address, and a couple things in the swing. Send me an update after you work on that after a while there. All right, let's go to our next video. Show us your swing. This one is Chris Caves. Hey Chris, thanks so much for the video. Lots of good things in your swing. You do a nice job with the club at the top, and you do a really nice job coming down. You can see the shaft laying down on the right forearm, on the toe line. Really good stuff there coming down. I can see you hitting a lot of good straight shots. I think the opportunity really lies in probably trying to get you to make a little fuller backswing in the turn. Your right hand, I think, is a bit underneath. I'm going to show you something with your right hand to check along with the amount of forward shaft lean. But when you see this club go back, you can see the club head stays pretty low, and then it gets kind of trapped to the inside pretty quickly there. You can see how the shaft's parallel and the club head's behind you, face a little bit on the closed side. The tendency when the club head gets inside is it's hard to turn. The lead arm usually kind of lifts, and that left arm can start to get in this situation where we could probably get it a little bit deeper if we wanted to. We could get the left arm to work a bit more around the body, but I think to do that, we've got to get the club head a little bit wider here initially, and that'll allow you to turn that right hip a bit more and round out that left arm. So I think a little sequencing going back, club head countered with a little more turn in the hip, deepening the depth of the left arm will get you a little bit more potential energy to really take advantage of what is a very nice downswing. So let me show you a couple things at address and something in the backswing that perhaps will give you a little bit more power. All right, hey Chris, thanks so much for sending in your video and for following me in social media on Twitter there at Travis Fulton and Instagram at Travis Fulton Golf. And I really like your downswing. I think you're doing a lot of good things coming down into impact into the finish, and I think I can help you get about another 10 to 15 yards, and particularly just by getting you to turn better. You're pretty stagnant with the lower body when you go back. There's not a lot of movement here, and I want to try to get this right leg turning better so the shoulders can increase that turn. And to do that, we're going to go to the target line view. We've got to get the club head, I think, positioned a little bit better going back. Right now, if you were to look at the club head in relationship to this tee that I got in the ground, that's back up the target line here a little bit and just to the inside and sticking up out of the ground, if you took it back, you would hit that inside tee every time. If anything, you'd probably go even inside the tee, right? So it's very low and to the inside, and the face gets a little shut, and that's okay, the face is shut, but it's pretty low and to the inside, and then usually you'll see kind of lift with the left arm, and that's where the body can't turn. So what I want you to try to do is get the club head working up a little bit more. See the club head, I'm kind of hinging the right elbow. I'm hinging the left wrist, kind of getting the club head working up this way and not low and to the inside. And that keeps the club head out here. Now, if we go back to face on, that'll set the stage for you to make a bigger turn. So the club head's working up. Now I can turn that right hip better. If you just took it to the inside and turned, you'd get too trapped. It'd be very difficult. So we go a little more up, then we increase the turn, and then from there, all systems go on the downswing. I think just by changing those two little things will help you turn better and get more club head speed. And I think that would equate to about 10 to perhaps 15 yards down the range here. So here we go. I'm going to set up, get the club head working up with that turn, blending the two together. And you can see I missed that tee going back, didn't get low to the inside, and I think that'll give you a little bit more power, so I hope that helps. All right, so you're probably thinking, how do I get involved? I want to send a swing. Well, you can do that. Check this out. Hey there, Travis Fulton here with the Stripe Show, 18 Birdies, and I want to help you with your game. And all you have to do is submit a swing video and send it to the Stripe Show at 18birdies.com. Now, in that video, I want three things. First and foremost, I want to know who you are and where you're from. And then secondly, how can I help you with your game in 1 to 2 sentences? And then finally, film that swing from 1 or 2 camera angles. Face on, just like this, or from down the target line, just like this. So here's how it works, a good sample. Hey, I'm Travis Fulton from Ponte Vedra, Florida, and I would like some help with my driver. My tendency is I hit it a little too high, and ever so often it slices off to the right. So I'd appreciate any help that you could give me. Here we go. All right, time for one of my favorite segments, Q&A. Your questions and specific answers coming your way. First one, Devin Fernandez on Twitter. Travis, what's the correct sequence feel in the downswing from the slot position over to the release? I sometimes start to chicken wing and feel I'm not getting stacked on the front foot, causing an open club face. So the way that I'm interpreting that, Devin, is that you're not getting stacked on the front foot, meaning that you might be kind of falling back this way, right? Where the weight's falling back, or maybe you got the weight over there and your spine is falling back. And we've got to get everything kind of a little more left so we can use that pressure into the release position. So here's my answer for that. What I want you to do on the downswing is to feel a couple things with the body. I want you to feel the weight kind of fall into the lead foot, right? Watch this. I'm going to step my foot up. I'm just going to kind of fall into the lead foot. And as I do that, I'm going to start to turn, right? Now, as I fall left and I start to turn, you notice how my spine just kind of stays right there stacked on top of my hips. What I didn't do is I didn't bump and let my spine fall to the right. So that sounds like that might be something you're doing, and I see that a lot, in particularly with the lower handicaps. They get too lateral and the spine falls to the right. Try to just let the weight fall and then start to turn and keep your spine more centered. There's a little bit of right bend there, but that's a nice position here at the delivery position. And now from there, you can just keep turning and really kind of push up off the ground into the release position. So just focus that in 2 steps. You're gonna kind of fall left, right? Start to turn, and then push up off of that, connect the dots, and then from there I think you'll be sequencing it better. The club will start to respond better. The club face will want to rotate better into the impact zone versus what it sounds like you were doing. That's a really good question, and I hope that helps a lot of you out there. Now, let's go to question number 2, and this one's on Twitter as well, coming from the 18Birdies app. And this one's coming from Charlie. He says, I'm struggling with a shank. I said it, a shank from time to time. And of course, a shank is when we catch it in on the hosel. We're gonna go to the target line. So what's happening here is we're set up more on the center of the face. And then at some point, this radius, go back to face on here real quick, this radius from the left arm through the left wrist to the club head is increasing. Look here, so I start to increase it. That moves the hosel closer. Okay, now let's just start here. What do you see when I start to increase it? You can see my weight going to my toes, right? So that's the first place we would want to check, is to make sure we're not out over our toes at any point. At address, halfway back, top of the swing, delivery, impact, nothing is going out over the toes, all right? The second thing is you'll notice my left arm is moving away from my chest, right? I see a lot of this when people shank it. The left arm blasts off the chest this way, right? Keep the left arm snug to the chest here at position 1 and keep it there coming down, snug right here. I like that as well. Those are the 2 things that I would tell you to look for right away, is where's the weight, right? So we're not out here at any point on the toes. And then the left arm very snug to the chest, like that, coming down and then into the impact position. I also like just a little bit of side bend here to the right, and you'll notice my left hip back, right? Because we'll see a lot of that sometimes. We'll start to see the hips kind of ride in, right? And that gets us going out in front, and that'll get the hosel exposed as well. So a few things to kind of chew on there, kind of filter through that, and I hope that helps you with the shank. Now, let's take one more question here. I'm phone out of my pocket here. Everything has changed here, social media and all that. And this one comes from Jim. He says, I'm hitting a lot of solid shots, but my miss is a pull. It starts left and stays there, okay? So that sounds like it is strictly a path pull. So we're coming into impact, I'm getting my setup here, and that path every once in a while works a little bit from out to in, right? So it's kind of going across, and the face is looking down that path, and that's when we hit that hard pull. So what we want to check for is at address here and face on, is we got just a little bit of side bend to the right. I like that side bend to maintain, so I'm still there, right? Every once in a while we can get a little out ahead of it, and that causes that face to look a little to the left. All right, especially if you're hitting a lot of good shots, just make sure that we're staying behind it. One thing that helps, that's a little extension. See my spine here? A little extension in the lower back. Every once in a while, it's easy to get rounded out, and we flex too far forward, and that causes that pull. We get ahead of it. We flex down rather than extending up through the impact zone. And it sounds like you're doing a nice job with the path. Just make sure that sweet spot is laying down a little bit and kind of tracing from in here. If you can get that sweet spot to kind of trace a little bit behind the lead wrist at delivery, and then a little extension through the strike, that should help that starting direction work a little bit more out to the right. All kinds of Q&As, good stuff. Keep sending them in to the Twitter. They're at 18Birdies. You can tweet them to me, at Travis Fulton. We love this part of the segment, and we do it each and every week. All right, let's go to our next segment. This one's called the 60-second swing fix. Let's go. All right, time for our 60-second swing tip. All right, here we go, 60 seconds. Short little pitch, about 20 yards. All we're gonna do is we're gonna hinge it up, and then we're gonna turn through. Just a little half swing. But The first one, I want you to draw it. Watch this. I'm going to swing it from the inside. Feel like you're going to recruit a little more from low to high, like an overhand in tennis. Short little pitch shot, but I'm going to try to draw it like that. Look at that. Comes out a little bit lower. Oh, hits the flag. And sometimes that little draw flattens out that launch angle, and we put a little bit more spin on it. Now, after you do that, then the next one, we're going to try to fade it, okay? Same hinge, but now I'm going to feel like I'm going to kind of swing a little bit more across to the left. A little bit, say, high to low, like a cut shot. All right, same setup.
10 seconds.
High to low like that, and not a bad outcome. So I like both of those. Draw it, fade it. Which one works better for you? Centerness of contact, and I think you'll find that might even translate into your full swing as well. I got one more shot for you. Let's go. Hey, you guys find it?
It's here.
Oh, goodness. All right, well, perhaps you've been here before. I just hit my drive here on 18. I'm over here by the driving range, and I've got to hit a punch shot around the corner. So I'm a little frustrated. I'm letting that go, and now the task at hand. Now, of course, I can move this stuff as long as the ball doesn't move. And I got to hit a hook here, a low hook, around the tree. And to do that, what we're going to do is we're going to grip down a bit, and I'm going to make sure that my grip's a little on the strong side to the right, and I'm going to play the ball position back in the stance with my weight on my left foot and really stabilize over here on the left. Now, from there, I'm going to shape my path. Look at this here. I'm going to have to kind of stay down low with my knee flex to help me stay under this limb. I can't be up here. All right, so I'm folding that elbow quick, left wrist nice and flat, and then I'm just going to try to leave all the energy nice and low as I turn through and hit it from the inside. Oh yeah, look at that. Nice and low, hook it around the tree. I will take that. I'm back out and play. We got to get in these situations. We're going to help you with that here on the Stripe Show, all those recovery shots as well. Hey, thanks so much for watching the Stripe Show. We hope you learned something. I want to introduce you to one more person here. His name is Trevor Anderson, one of the top golf-specific trainers in the game, and he is joining the 18 Birdies instruction staff, and I want you to meet him right now.
I'm Coach T.A. Trevor Anderson, Certified Strength and Conditioning Specialist and the owner of the Better Everyday Performance Institute here in Orlando, Florida. I was recognized by Golf Digest as one of the top 50 golf fitness professionals, and I'm honored to join the 18 Birdies team. I've shot a bunch of lesson plans. Check them out. If you want to get better at your golf game, if you want to improve your fitness, your movement, your performance, check these lesson plans out. I think they can really help you. And as always, thank you for joining the Stripe Show with Travis Fulton. 2 claps, baby.